Hi, this video is going to be somewhat abstract because I'm going to talk about abstraction. People love naming things, and there is an evidence for this, dictionaries. But not only in regular languages we tend to name everything. We also do this in physics, math, and many other fields. But why do we do this, and how does it work? I don't know for sure, but I like to think about this from time to time. So let's try to find out together. Yeah, so I'm going to draw a bit this time. So let's find my software. Yep. And my tablet. So we are going to talk about abstraction. So let's show this here. Yeah, my beautiful handwriting. Yep. So let's talk about abstraction here. Imagine for a moment that you and I, we both live on a big, beautiful island. And we are completely isolated from the outer world. And we know nothing about abstractions or naming. The only way we can communicate is by very specific instructions. So no abstraction at all. And also, we have small, gorgeous, furry animal with us on the island. Of course, the animal is always pretend to be starved, and we need to feed it. But we cannot feed it too often because animal just can become sick. So the other thing, you are the only person who knows when exactly to feed any animal, and I'm the only person who can feed animals. So we need to communicate somehow. So how would you ask me to feed our pet in the given situation? Let's think about this. Probably you may just take the animal and put it into my face and say something like, feed this. Or not even feed, because we don't know nothing about abstractions and name. You just had this animal, put it into my face, using gestures, show me to the animal, to the mouse, and to the food. And this way, probably I will understand you, and I will feed the animal. And yeah, and I think this may work just fine for now. So for some time, we may use this method to feed our animal and to communicate to each other when to feed our animal. But very soon we may find out that using all these gestures, like putting this animal into my face and show all this nonsense, It's like very tedious process. And we may decide to call all these gestures using one word to call this process feeding. So it might be better, and our life may become much easier now, and we may have much more free time, so we can have some rest. Yeah, so we have this animal. Maybe let's draw some simplification of this animal so we can have some visual clues. Let's try like this. One. So we have small furry animal, beautiful one. Yep. But we have some difficulties in communication for now. And our main job is to feed this animal. Yeah, it looks grumpy a bit, I guess, but well, that's fine. So we have this very grumpy animal. Let's draw some other parts of this beautiful creature. And this one part, and maybe some fur here and there, and we can draw some this stuff like this, and like okay, and like this, and nope, okay, and like this. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much enough for now. So we have some visualization of our animal, and it will be easier for now to reason about it and to show some examples. So well done. We named the process of feeding. We give it name feeding because we didn't know this name before. And the next day we wake up, and now we see that we have 100 similar small furry animals. So that's not just one thing, but now that's 100 things. I mean creatures, not things, but yeah. So 100 small, beautiful creatures that are very, very starved. At least they pretend to be starved all the time. How would we feed them? So that's another question. So the rules are the same. I can feed them. You need to command me somehow. Well, we can still use our old manual way of just pointing and gesturing and telling like feed this thing, feed this creature, feed this animal, etc., etc. But 100 of animals, it's a pretty big number of animals, and we can become very exhausted very, very soon. if we use this method. So at this point, we may find out that our pets have some differences. And we can use those differences to distinguish them. So you may command me, like, feed the big red one and the gray one. So it's easier to find the exact animal and feed like correct animal. Because we do not want to feed them too often because they can become sick. And we do not want our animals to become sick. So, yeah, we can use this approach. We can use this approach. So we use differences like this cat is red, or ginger, however you call this, and yeah, so cat animal. We know that it's animal, and our animal is red, and you ask me to feed this red animal, and another animal is brown or gray or whatever color it is, and you may ask me to feed them as well sometime later. So yeah, that's our communication for now, and yeah, very well. That's maybe efficient enough, and at least we would have time to sleep from time to time if we work this way. So yeah, good job for now. Okay, some other day. We wake up again and see now that we have 100 more animals. But not just the same animals as before. Those animals are quite different. They are louder, they are bigger sometimes not, and their heads are shaped differently, and there are many other differences. So let's try to visualize our new animal. I may use, I don't know, maybe this like pinkish color to visualize this animal. So we might draw it like this and like this and maybe like this, and may draw like this, and have some ear. Maybe this ear will look like this one, and another ear here. Also, the creature has eyes, but not like this, but some, oh no, perspective. I guess this, and I like this. Oh no, perspective. Yeah, I'm not the best artist, but I guess you get the point. So yeah, this creature looks this way, and probably they have some like some tongue. So we will show this tongue, Maybe I may remove this thing, this, and yeah, the creature has some tongue, and it's happy, smiley, very smiley, happy creature. So yeah, and sometimes pretty loud. So another 100 creatures. Yeah, let's draw that it's 100. Another 100 creatures on the island. So, and what do we know about these creatures? We know that they are also pretend to be very starved all the time. Anytime you see it, it pretends to be starved. And these animals cannot eat the food, the same food as existing animals, like these animals. They need their own special food. Otherwise, they may become very, very sad. So we don't want our creatures to become sad, and we need some way to distinguish them again. So we have a problem. We need to learn how to distinguish our pets efficiently, because now it's 200 pets, and it's a big number for two people on the island. And we are alone with all those 200 creatures. We can still use their differences as a guide and just use gestures and name differences, etc., etc. But now there is a problem. These new creatures have a lot of common properties with the previous ones, and they have similar colors or numbers of eyes, ears, legs. Sometimes they have sometimes they have similar size, etc., etc. So, to explain which animal to feed and what type of food to use, we need extremely wordy commands now. So extremely wordy commands. Too much time we need to spend to communicate. So while our animals are starving again because of our inefficiency, we need to find a way to optimize our communication. We think tensely for a while and decide to make two lists. One list contains properties that are common for the first group of pets, and another list will contain properties for the second group of pets. So, the first list might look like, let's use correct color. The first list might look like small face and maybe small size. It's not that small on the picture, but if we use some magic, we may change this size, and now it's like much closer. Yep, and like this. So small face, small size, Nope. I need to use my brush. Small size. And what else? A grumpy face. Very grumpy face. Okay, grumpy. Oh no, what F? Face. Face. Okay, my handwriting is beautiful, very beautiful. So, and for the another one, we may use like large. Okay, not large size because sometimes the size is the same. So let's use long ears or maybe long face. Long face. Loud. And what else can we use to this second type of creatures? Happy look, because this creature is happy. It's very happy. I guess I would write it smiling, but I don't know. It doesn't look smiling, but yeah. But this creature is very happy. Let's show here. Yeah, like this. And it's wiggling its tail. We don't have tails here, but believe me. So it's happy. Well, we have two lists. So to be able to distinguish our lists, we may decide to mark them using some special symbols. For the first and the second list. And let's do this. So our first list, we may put it here. And let's put our second list lower as well. Like this. And now we can name them. So the first list we will call cat, and the second one we will call dog. Completely random names. Whatever name we want to name these lists, but we decided to use this, cat and dog. So now we have two lists. Each list contains differences and has its own name. Differences and own name, cat and dog, respectively. So now whatever we need to reference an animal, you could command feed the golden dog with a smiley face, or feed the black cat with white brows, or something. Whatever differences the animal has, and use not just animal, but specify that this animal is either cat or dog. So now it's much easier to differentiate our different types of animals, and still we can use our previous approach with differences of particular animals inside each group. So inside group of cats, we can use differences to distinguish between cats, and inside the group of dogs, we can use their differences to distinguish between dogs. So, very good job. And again, we saved the island, and all the animals are fed and happy. So, it's time to have some rest again. So, when we wake up, we don't find new pets this time. Instead, we find 10 more people. Half of them can feed pets, and another half know when to do this. Something familiar. Probably. That's great. Sounds great. Finally, we can have a vacation. So we can teach those people to do our job, and they will help us, and we can have a vacation finally. But soon we find one difficulty. Our new neighbors are completely colorblind. But how can we transfer our knowledge to them when we use colors so often to distinguish our pets? We always say like red cat or brown dog or etc. etc. We always use colors. But our new neighbors are colorblind. So how would we solve this problem? Perhaps we need to use other properties now. Not a color. But those other properties are not as neat as colors. We need to use much more properties now. And that's not efficient at all. Our precious cats and dogs are starved now. And they sad and very disappointed. We need to find a solution quickly. After some discussions, we got a brilliant idea. What if we have a dedicated set of properties, or a list of properties, not only for commons of our animals, but for differences as well? So, for example, for some particular cat, we may have list like this. Maybe it has it's a cat. Yeah, that's the first. It's a cat. The second property, it has a red color. Let's throw it like, okay, not much better, but it's red, and it has white brows, for example, like white brows. The list for one particular animal. And for a particular dog, we may have the list like it's a dog, so the first property, and the second property is it has like golden color. Golden? Nope. Golden. And what? Very like long ears. Why not? Long ears. Nope. Long ears. Okay. So for each animal, for each particular animal, we may have this list of properties to describe them. And also we can use, as the previous time, we can use special symbols, names, to differentiate those lists. So let's, for example, use for our red cat, let's call it Rusty. I don't know how much catches this name, but Rusty. It's red and not very unique, probably. Well, let me know how would you call this cat. And a dog. How would we call this dog? All the dogs are smiley and big and loud, and this is golden and I don't know, maybe like Mr. Goldie. Mr. Goldie and Rusty. I don't know, Rusty like more familiar. We know Rusty for longer time, so it's just Rusty. But Mr. Goldie, just a few days ago, we meet him just a few days ago. So now we have these two lists, and like not two lists, but for each animal we have the list of their own differences for their own properties, and the property that shows whether that's a cat or a dog. It sounds great for me. Ta-da! The island is saved, and the pets will be fed, because this is what we need to differentiate any animal on our island. So we can say like feed the dog Smiley, feed the cat Rusty, and so on, or feed the dog Mr. Goldie in our case. Very, very efficient system. And now, finally, we can delegate our job to our new neighbors and take a vacation. Excellent work. Both people and pets are happy now. Great job. Let's come back now from our island, from our happy island, and think over our adventure. And what did we do there? And what did we invent? So, what concepts did we invent on the island? The first, we decided to give a name to an action of giving food. So we call it feeding. So we don't need to use gestures all the time just to show the process of feeding. We decided to use a dedicated word for that. And that was a brilliant idea. It saved us a lot of time. Let's show our animals better. Okay, like this. It saved нам a lot of time. But we had just one animal. Why bother? But still, it's saved us a time so we can rest. Okay, that was the first one. Probably let's note them here. So the first one we named. Oh no, my handwriting is so beautiful. Named action. We named action or process. Let's call it action. We named action. The second one, when we had the only one animal, we were very specific about things, and we could to refer to the pet using gestures. But when we had 100 animals, we have learned to be even more specific and started distinguishing pets using their features or properties. So we could distinguish our animals by even more specific commands, and we used more specificity. So we learned to be very specific here. Very specific. To be very specific. So the third thing we did, we when we got another type of animals on our island, this specificity didn't scale really well because we just couldn't specify so many properties to distinguish each animal every time. It's just too many properties. And it didn't scale. So we invented a way to group common properties of the species, of the type of animal, and give them unique names. In our case, cat and dog. So, what did we do? We grouped group properties and not just group, but group important properties. That's important. So we learned how to group important properties because we didn't just group any properties. It's not really useful to distinguish species. We need to have some properties that are that we have in one species but don't have in another one. So at least we have unique set of properties. So group important properties. No, I don't like this word at all. Sorry for this. Let's try again. Important. 4 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 important. important properties. So we grouped important properties. And what did we do? We gave the name or names for these groups. Name groups. This is also very important concept. Okay. Yeah. So at this point, we already invented abstraction. What abstraction? So we grouped important properties. We ignored the rest, and we named those groups. And also we learned how to name action or actions. And to be honest, it's very similar thing. But when we talk about action, sometimes we don't think about it like about properties. It's like some algorithm, some steps that you need to do, so you have some particular result. But it's somewhat similar because it's also some kind of abstraction. You have some important steps or properties, and you ignore unimportant, and you give the name to the thing so you can easily operate or talk about this or reason about this, and you can communicate information easily. That's the point. And the same thing with groups of some properties. The same thing, the same purpose, very useful thing. And what we did, we learned. So we gave names to our particular animals for a particular instances of our groups. It's also a very important concept. So we just specified a particular instance like Rusty by its name, and that was an instance of our more abstract group, cat. So here, when we had Rusty, we have the property that it is a cat. And when we have Goldie, we have the property that it is a dog. So we invented this thing. We invented this property. So that is this compilation of some properties, but it works as well. So we gave those properties, and we also used names for particular instances. It's also a very important thing in abstraction. So you can use your abstraction to talk about specific things or to describe specific things. So you can move between very specific stuff and very abstract stuff, and you just can switch between those layers of abstraction. So more abstract, less abstract, more specific, less specific. That's all. All this stuff. So what did we learn? Name instances instances of a group. Name instances of a group. Well, 5 steps, few days, 200 animal, 12 people, including us, and we invented abstraction. Isn't that exciting? So we went from complete specificity using gestures and putting particular animal into the face of each other. We go from this to using names and complex concepts like cat or dog just in a few days. That's a really great job. So kudos to us. Let's summarize. Well, we have this summary. We can use this list as summary. Summary. I don't like this M, but let it be. So, in other words, what can we say about this summary, about this list? When we take some concept or action or anything else and select its important properties and ignore the rest, this is called abstraction. So whatever we have in the end of this process, this is called abstraction, a list of important properties for a particular context, for a particular thing, for a particular concept. What is important? That depends on the context. So in one context, one things might be important, in other things. So when we talk about a cat as a pet, for example, we can choose one set of properties like color, size, character. But when we talk about a cat as a biological species, we would select different properties. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not a biologist or a doctor, but I'm pretty sure they will select much more different properties for their purposes. And so, while all these our inventions we have here, while they might look obvious, so yeah, just take whatever and name it and use names, etc., etc. It might seem obvious, but it's not. It's not so obvious, and often those concepts are overlooked. And believe me, not everyone can use them like 100% right and 100% efficient. I guess no one can use it 100% efficient, but some high level of efficiency in abstraction, it's very rare thing. So it's not so obvious as you think, as you might think. So at this point, we know what is abstraction, and we invented it. So where it can be useful? Abstraction is a very important tool in the foundation of many analytical activities. For example, in programming, that is a huge part of success if you can deal with abstractions properly. So programming is built on the foundation of abstraction. Not only the abstraction, but abstraction is a ginormously important, very important thing there. Also, abstraction, it's not only for technical guys like programmers or other IT guys. Abstraction is also often used in art. So painters, when they paint, they paint from general forms to specific details. It's also abstraction. So they use some, they don't just like camera, they don't just make image. They get some form. For example, they may take like kind of circlish stuff. I'm not very good at this, but they may have some like circlish stuff, and they pick some color, and then they will add some details and all this stuff, and they start from circle, then add details, some more shapes, etc., etc., more and more details, more specificity, and this circle may become like an, I don't know, apple or orange or something like this. They will draw some shadows maybe, and I don't know, something like stem and maybe some leaf, and yeah, and that's become some kind of fruit. It's ugly fruit, but that's some kind of fruit probably. And so painters, artists, when you draw, when you paint, you very often use this method from general to specific, and that is abstraction as well. And also animators, when you animate things, sometimes you need just to ignore the look of the thing, of a particular, of something, and just focus on movement. So as I know, many animators use just stick figures, or in 3D animators, they might use just boxes or something like this. Something very, very simple with no color at all, and just to focus on the movement. So no other stuff there. This is also abstraction. So very useful thing, very often used in art. Directors use storyboards. Storyboards, it's some kind of a list or a set of images in particular order. This usually very rough images drawn by hand quickly, just to show scenes of the movie or animation or something like this. And they use it to focus on a story, on particular scenes or on the scene's structure, and they don't think about whether it looks beautiful or not for now. They just think about structure so they can communicate to each other what they want to see and what they want to shot or draw or animate, etc. Another one case when people, artists, use abstraction. Very important stuff on those fields. Okay. Also, ability to balance abstract and specific stuff, it's a crucial tool in many activities. It's very often used in solutions design. So it's like programming and IT stuff, in business analysis, when you need to describe, improve, or build some processes for people or for automation or whatever else. And for many other activities. So this list may go on and on and on. So as you can see, this like quite important thing. And in my experience, not very often people talk about this. Maybe we should do this like more often, so more people know about this stuff, about the foundation that everything else built on. So I guess this might be important thing. Okay, so ability to balance abstract and specific. I said balance because we rarely use completely abstract or completely specific concepts in real life, in the real life. Usually we operate somewhere between those extremes. So on the spectrum from specific to abstract. So yeah, usually we have some kind of very let's draw something small. Yeah, so we have something very extremely abstract, and we have something extremely specific. It just cannot be more specific than this. And how do we use this? We cannot use just 100 specific on 100 abstract things. It's not that easy and not that useful, because if you talk about something that is just completely abstract, what did you say? What could you say? Like a thing or something? What is it? Something. Yeah, okay. Sometimes we use something, but if you need to just to reason about things, usually we need like more specific things. And yeah, let's draw something like here we have like abstract. No, I forgot how to write. Abstract. And on the other side we have like specific. No, let's try to make it better. No, I forgot how to write. Specific. Yeah, English is not my first language, as you can see. So sometimes it's difficult for me to do all this stuff, but hopefully soon I'll become much more proficient in all this stuff. Yeah, so at this point we have this spectrum from abstract to specific. And at this point, we may want, like, let's draw something like this, and let's try to connect the dots. Let's try something like this, and let's go take this color and move it to this, and oh no, this is so not so pleasant color. Probably I would use like this and like this, and at this point we may use something like this. So let's mix all this stuff. Yeah, so we have this spectrum from very, very specific to very, very extremely abstract. And usually we need to find the correct level of abstraction that we need for our particular context and for our particular case. Because sometimes we want to talk about some broad and general concept and reason about this, and we don't care about some specific details. But in other cases, we need like all the specific stuff that we may find. Usually it's like in science, in maybe in medicine, or this like serious important stuff. And often we need to learn to understand what level of abstraction or specificity on this spectrum, where do we want to be here? Where exactly do we want to be here? Because if we want to talk about, if we have just casual conversations about cats, probably we don't want to be here and speak about some deep anatomy of cat's ear. If this is very casual conversation with a casual person who don't know anatomy of the cat and don't want to. So probably we may want to be like here and talk about cat in less specific manner, as about of pet. It's fury, it's funny, it's scratchy, and it has some character, and all this stuff might be like here on the abstract and specific spectrum. But if we are animal doctors, I believe veterinarians, it's called in English, then we might want to be like maybe here, or maybe somewhere here. It depends on particular concept. Whether you're writing your some scientific paper or you just speak to your friend. It depends. And yeah, that's another one very obvious thing, but usually people overlook this one as well. When you need to reason about some general stuff for now, just for starting, just to understand the basic general idea of whatever you want to do or whatever you want to discuss. And people just go into specific. And they don't want to get out from there and just go to the higher level of abstraction, or they cannot do this. I don't know, but they are just not able to look at the things broadly, in more general way. But this is very useful skill for many people, as you've seen. And and sometimes too much generalization is also bad stuff. So when you have some very bad color, it's not contrast at all. When you have some extremely abstract thing, extremely abstract fact about something, and you're trying to reason about, like, using all those extremely abstract facts, you try to reason about more specific stuff. Sometimes it's not a good idea. And sometimes it's like it just doesn't work logically. And you should be very careful about this. And about this stuff and logic and logical fallacies and other stuff, we will talk about this in later videos for sure. But for now, just let's just state that it's important to understand where exactly on this spectrum from abstract to specific we need to be for a particular context, for a particular situation, and for a particular problem. That's a very important skill. It helps to be precise. It helps to not waste our efforts and other people's efforts, time, resources. And it just helps to be more efficient in your analytical activities. So, yeah, that's a good stuff. Remember about this spectrum. Let's maybe write this like this is spectrum. This is not just black and white thing. No, just abstract or just specific. It's like percentage from 0 to 100 in whatever direction you want. Well, yeah, I became wordy a bit. Let's go to the next topic. Not to the next topic, but let's proceed. Okay. Probably that sounds good for you, and maybe you even agree with some of points that I said before. But how would you become better at abstractions? Good question. Good question. I don't know the recipe of the success for this and for many others questions, for many other questions. But for this particular case, I know an exercise that might help you to start building your skill, building your abstraction skill. So let's talk about this exercise. Probably we may need some space here because I will draw a bit. So let's move this thing. Yeah, I guess it's very important drawing. painting or whatever it is. Let's put it here and move our spectrum thing so we can see it. This thing is important. I don't know, let's put it here for now. Yeah, maybe we can put this stuff. Maybe we can put this stuff here. Yeah, maybe sometimes I'm just wordy, or it takes some time to draw the stuff or move the stuff. Yeah, I guess it might be inconvenient for someone of you. I understand this, but I believe it's from my point of view, I guess it's better just to show and talk to people like just like regular person, because I am a regular person, and if I do a lot of editing and if I do just completely excellent video about this thing, I guess it will lose something. It will lose something important. It will lose this process, like thought process. It will lose all those maybe my mistakes or something like this, because it's important to see how people do make mistakes and how they fix them, not just see like excellent work, that's just final result. I think it's important to see whatever I trying to show here, and when if I will do some coding videos, when I show how to write programs, or well, when I talk about some specific concepts, probably I will try to keep it unedited and in some kind of conversational style. Yeah, just because I think I just afraid to edit out something important from the video, because I don't know exactly what might become important from you in my videos. So for now, I will keep everything. So we'll see later, but yeah, let's continue our exercise. So we like ordered a bit our stuff, and maybe I can make it bigger, somewhat bigger, like this. And let's pick our background color and fill it. Yeah, okay. Come back to our colors. Yeah, the exercise. Exercise. I guess it should be like this. Exercise. Okay. Yeah, if I made some mistake in this word, excuse me. I sometimes try to put just some redundant letters in this word. I don't know why, but yeah. The exercise. So take two random things, just anything, just some concepts, and try to put them to the most specific common group as possible. So pick, let's maybe draw it, let's make it bigger. Okay, pick two random things. That's the first point. And the second one, put those two things to the most specific common group. Put them to the most specific but still common group. So this group should be specific but still common for those two things. Let me show some example. For example, we might have like, let's take something easy, like we might have the triangle, one triangle and another triangle. What group can we put those two things that I just drew? Okay, we may put it to the group like purple triangles, right? Like purple triangles. Okay, yeah, that might be. What else? Let's think. We may put it like if we were not so specific here, we may put these triangles just to a group triangles. Or we can put it to a group colored triangles. It's like in between. It's between triangles and purple triangles on our spectrum of specificity, and between specificity and abstraction. On our spectrum, purple triangle, it's more specific than purple triangles is more specific group than just triangles. And colored triangles, it's like between those two groups, just like in between. So also we can call this like less specifically geometric shapes. Geometric shapes. Also like correct answer for some point, for some degree. What else? it might be a group of pixels on your screen. It's also correct answer, because for someone, if you watch this video on your digital screen and your screen has some pixels, these triangles not more than just glowing pixels. It's group of pixels. That's also correct. If we look at these triangles from different perspective. So this is a group of pixels. More broad definition for these things. It's just things. Okay, that's also correct. Things. And so on. So you can, you don't need to use just one group for these two random things for this set. You can try, and you should try, to find as many groups as possible. So, like, maybe we should not put them to the most specific common group, but to the common group of variable specificity. Let's call it this way. To the common group of variable specificity. Oopsie. Specificity. No, that's too ugly, even for me. Even for my handwriting. Let's try better. Almost. See. What's wrong with my dots? T. Yeah, okay. So, the exercise. Pick two random things, put them to the common group of variable specificity. To a common group, probably. Yeah, my English isn't the most strongest part of mine, but believe me, I'm trying to improve it. Into a common group of variable specificity. Yeah, so we have this example with triangles. We may just show that this is our example. Okay, let's try to. This is example, and this is example as well. So, what else can you do with this exercise? You can try, like, to take something like a purple triangle and blue square and put them to some common group. let's show it. Let's take it into parentheses. Or you can try some purple triangle and a cat. Or you can try like cat and rock. Where can you put cat and rock? Maybe like physical objects or something like this. It's always, in my experience, it's always some group where you can put some two random things. It's always something. It might be very abstract thing, but it's always something. It's difficult to find some. I don't know. I never find something I couldn't put into some group. Maybe extremely abstract, but still a group and still common group. So try it yourself. Maybe you can find. I don't know. Let me know if you can find something. Also, important thing. Try to explain to yourself, or maybe to your friend or colleague, or who you might play this game or do this exercise together. Try to explain what similarities allowed you to put the objects into the same group. So why could you put these triangles into the same group? Yeah, because they are both are triangles, and they are both are purple or magenta, but let be purple for now. And that's why we can put it to the first group. And to the second group, we can put them because they are both are triangles. And for the second, also because they are geometric shapes, obviously, etc., etc. So for different things will be different different reasons. I forgot the words reason. For different things would be different reasons. Why did you put them into the same group, and what did allow you to put this object to the same group? Yeah, but there will be some things, I guess. Should be. But also, try to find out what differences they still have, even being in the same group. For example, for the first one, we decided to put those triangles to a group of purple triangles. They still have different size, and they still have different shape. So they are triangles by definition, but they are shaped differently. They have different angles, they have different length of their edges, of their lines. So that's why they are still different. They are not the same thing. So even if we have some triangle which is completely looks completely the same for us, yeah, like this, it still has different position. If we look at these triangles like at the group of pixels, those are completely different groups of pixels, etc., etc. So try to think about differences and common stuff. Yeah, let's remove this. Yeah. Also, it's like exercise with like asterisk. I don't know. It's like more difficult exercise. If you may want to make it more difficult, like well, let's note our like explain similarities. Let's update our notes here, so you won't lose them. Yep. Okay, that's fine. So like this one, and this, and let's erase this line. So what did I say? Explain why did you put them to the same group? To the same group. And show their differences. Oopsie. Show their no, please stop. Their differences. Diffs. Show their diffs. Well, and the last one, the most maybe not maybe it's so difficult thing, but it's like unusual a bit. What you may try is to find the pair of things, like two things, that are very, very different from each other. Just go as crazy as you want. You may try something like, I don't know, weather and bird, or weather and sadness, something like this, or maybe even more different and crazy. And why would you do this? Do this just to test the boundaries or limits of the abstraction as a tool. So you will find out how far can you go. And those more difficult and strange pairs of things, they will show you how you can still put into the same group very, very different things, concepts that on the first glance might seem like completely different stuff. But if you try, the most probably you will find something, some similarities, and you will find some group. So let me know what group would you put like weather and bird. I don't know. Let's try to find it out. And yeah. And if you think it's not possible, try to explain why do you think so. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm incorrect in my understanding of abstraction. So I will check. Your uh, facts, your arguments, and uh, I may change my opinion. Yeah, I may change my opinion if you show me that I'm wrong. So it's always a good stuff for me if you show me that I'm wrong, and I will check your facts and your arguments. And if you are correct, I will change my opinion. And I guess people should always do this. And it should be always or often like this, at least often. Uh, so, yeah, the last thing is take very different, like pick very different concepts. Two concepts, like for the exercise. Exercise, I guess like this. Pick very different two concepts for this exercise and try. And this one, it's like with a star. Try and do it yourself. I believe personally that this is very useful exercise that will help you to build a foundation in abstraction, so you can start and you can improve your skills by doing this exercise. Yes, it's not technical. You need any software for this, and you don't need to buy any course or whatever else someone can sell to you. Just try to do this. So this abstract thinking and ability to move between abstract and specific, and not to lose yourself in this stuff, and understand where exactly are you on this spectrum from specific to abstract or from abstract to specific. This ability is very important for your analytical skills. I strongly believe that it is very important. Yeah, I guess it's probably it for today about abstraction. Surely I will talk more in future about abstraction, like maybe in some about some other sides of abstraction and about other uses of abstraction. Yeah, but for now, I guess that's enough. Thank you for watching. Let me know, what do you think about abstraction? What do you think about the exercise? Maybe what do you think about my explanation? If you think that I need to add something, or that I'm doing something wrong, yeah, please let me know as well. I will read it. I will consider your argument, and maybe I will change my opinion if you say me something that is reasonable enough. Yeah, also please like and subscribe, so it helps to grow the channel if you are interested in such things. And good luck. Bye. And again, bye.